Kamala Harris's interview with Oprah Winfrey went exactly as you would have expected. Weak, softball, and provided no fresh insight. Commentators across the globe are mocking the interview, calling it a cringe fest and slamming its pathetic attempt to mask Democratic propaganda as a hard-hitting interview. Sky News All-Stars James Morrow, Erin Molan and Paul Murray exposed the weirdest moments from the Oprah-Kamala interview. When you hear the words Kamala Harris and Oprah, hard-hitting interview doesn't exactly come to mind. And you would be right. The Kamala Harris-Oprah interview was a certifiable cringe fest that can only be described as a campaign ad for the Democrats, reveals Sky News All-Star Erin Molan.
Now today, Kamala Harris sat down with good friend and arguably America's most famous television host, Oprah Winfrey. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was as sickening as you'd imagine.
The real measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. And it's important for us, absolutely, to articulate that.
You know, majority of young Americans, 18 to 34, say that the cost of living is their top issue ahead of the election. Let's take a look.
Groceries are extremely expensive right now.
I don't understand how people are affording life right now.
By a long shot, her tax plan is phenomenal, no glaze.
Kamala Harris just delivered her new economic plan, and boy, oh boy, is it good for small business owners.
You guys, Kamala Harris is going to announce tomorrow a $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers.
Now, we didn't just get this off the internet afterwards. This was part of the Oprah special.
Ms. Molan went on to blast Kamala Harris again, saying she points out the complete obvious in her answers.
Now, she did her usual thing as well, of course, pointing out the complete obvious.
And I look around at these screens, Oprah, I look at who's in the room, and this is America.
This is
America.
Yes, it is America. Now,
but despite the questions being blatantly scripted and pre-prepared, Kamala Harris was still caught off guard and stumbled her way through what should have been a very simple answer, reveals Sky News All-Star Paul Murray.
She couldn't even follow the script if there was one. This was a question that was asked of her by a couple who clearly, you can tell, want to vote for her. Watch in particular the face of the bloke here.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
What? What are you asking me? I don't have an answer for this. Can you see that? Can we roll it again? Watch her face. Watch how frightened this woman is about answering a question in a scripted forum that is a advertorial, because she has no answer on this.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Wow, leading in the polls. Inevitable according to the 538 model. Well, it's her answer to the scripted question in the scripted room that should frighten everyone. Again, keep an eye on the bloke here when they start to take shots where the wife is trying to be impressed and he's slowly not, because this is a buffet of word salad.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that.
Blah, 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 blah.
And when asked about the border, a question she's been asked hundreds of times and should be all over as the borders are, she fumbled it, reveals Sky News All-Star James Morrow.
Anyway, the purpose of the forum was for Harris to be asked some Very basic questions, questions which she still struggled with even though they're entirely predictable. Here she was being asked about what she'd do about the border.
When you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know, my background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected Attorney General for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me.
Yeah. You know, she's always on about being a prosecutor.
Kamala Harris also attempted some comic relief during the interview, but just ended up embarrassing herself, according to Sky News All-Star Joe Hildebrand.
Now, while we're in the US, Kamala Harris sat down with Oprah Winfrey for a Unite for America quote-unquote forum event on Thursday, where she made this surprising revelation.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But
my staff will deal with that later.
Yeah.
I'm a gun owner, America. You Republicans don't have to worry about me. Okay, as James Morrow pointed out this morning, Joe, she has Secret Service protection. She ain't shooting anyone. It's the Secret Service who's going to kill someone if they try to break into her house. But what? This is the second time now in a couple of weeks where she has brought up the fact she owns a gun.
That's right, exactly. This is what I love. Just, well, you know what? I mean, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm a gun owner. And then, like, no one pays any attention to, oh, now I'm going to have to not say it again. I'm a gun owner. Like it is the most embarrassing
and
kind of...
And
that's
like,
right. It's the most
little things that
embarrassing kind of, you know, like, she just does my head in. Like, she's just so annoying. And this idea that she's got to sort of, you know, let it slip that she's actually just a normal person like you and me, and that she's actually this really kind of gung-ho, middle of the road, middle America, cowboy hat wearing, horse riding, gun toting. It's just
surrounded by celebrities at that event.
That's right.
Like,
stop with the celebrities. Like, it is just such a bad look. This is where Hillary Clinton went so horribly wrong, and why she lost to Donald Trump. Because when she was hanging out with Beyonce, Trump was holding rallies with workers in Pennsylvania, and Kamala is doing the exact same thing. I cannot believe. I mean, I suppose they need the money, and they think they have to get as much money as they possibly can to put together as slick a campaign machine as possible, because you can't really have her pretending to be real.
But Erin Molan took a more serious tone to her gun owner response, saying, imagine if Donald Trump had given that same answer.
Now, just imagine that it was Donald Trump sitting there and saying those exact words. Imagine what her response and the rest of the Democrats' response would have been to a line like that. Just imagine. Now, let me leave you with this super powerful exchange.
As we have 47 days until November 5th, what's on your heart?
Freedom to be who you are and just be, to love who you love openly and with pride. Freedom to just be.
Yeah, I don't think Oprah had any idea what she meant.
And even Kamala Harris's biggest fan, Oprah, was caught looking very bored and confused with the mindless ramblings at points.
Speaking of weird versus normal, my God, how about that interview Kamala Harris did with Oprah? Did you see this? Again, in even the most softball form, Harris was left grasping for answers, laughing nervously, and repeating the same set pieces that have been running her entire mini campaign. First, a bit of Harris just talking about, well, who knows? And there's a great moment here when it looks like even Oprah is having a WTF moment.
One of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are, which includes freedom to make decisions about your own body, freedom to be safe from gun violence, freedom to have
Look at Oprah's face. What is this woman talking about? Anyway, the purpose of the forum was for Harris to be asked some very basic questions which she still struggled with, even though they're entirely predictable.
The interview was also slammed by commentators for the snobbish attitude and disconnection from the working class constituents Kamala Harris claims to represent.
Amanda, I believe that Kamala Harris is just wanting to blab her way into the White House.
The issue here is that particular situation was surrounded by elite Hollywood stars, people that are connected. They pretty much, it's their own little group at the top. They have no idea about the working class and the middle class. And there's no one from the working class and the middle class standing up actually speaking about the Democrats because they've all turned on them. So if they really want an interview and be genuine, then get a group of people that have lost their jobs, can't afford medical bills, and get them to ask questions, not Hollywood elites.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.